So I'll speak a little bit about how to listen to the teaching and how to give teaching, how to listen, how to teach. I mean Dharma, not any other subject. Now, in order to listen to the teaching, you should first think about the benefits of listening to the teaching. Number one. Number two, respecting the teacher. Number three, actual process of listening. Now, with regard to contemplation about benefits of listening to the teaching, it's by listening that you know the meaning, you know the Dharma. It's by listening you'll be able to give up negative habits. It is by listening that you will be able to stop many meaningless activities. Right? And then, of course, it is by listening that gradually you are able to achieve liberation, enlightenment, and so forth. These 2 ears on both the sides is for listening. Normally, a little bit like joke, but I mean it seriously that if you look at the nature, as I was explaining about the human physical features the other day, again, if you look carefully with your, organs, we have 2 eyes, 2 ears. 2 eyes are right in front, meaning that aankhon dekha hal bolta hai na, you see the truth and reality by yourself, don't listen to gossip. And if you are not able to see things properly, then at least listen to all the sides of the story. So the 2 ears are on both sides. And your nose is a little bit, especially the nostril is down. That means the purpose of your nose is to listen whether your body is smelly or not. It is not to smell other people's body. Our nose is not like pigs. Pigs, they have to scavenge, so it's like this, It's not like that. Then the tongue is completely hidden inside. It has no business until the food comes in the mouth. So things like that, if you look at things. Then mouth, just one, which means speak a little bit less, see more, hear more, right? If you keep on speaking, you will be speaking all the time what you know. If you listen more, you will learn many things from other people. So sometimes we have this habit of not listening to others. Just keep on talking what you know. Just as I'm doing. But right now, of course, I'm in a different situation. But even otherwise, right? So therefore, these are the advantages. Unless you have knowledge, you will not know what to do. Right? Second is respecting the teacher and the teaching. That means when we talk about listening to the Dharma, it should not be like listening to any other textbook, mathematical textbook or other philosophical or scientific textbook, not like that. Right? So therefore, you must respect the teaching and the teacher. So therefore, in Tibetan tradition, we have this process of respecting this holy book. We call it holy book. We don't sit on it, we don't jump on it. We put, as much as possible, we put it on higher, cleaner places. Then teacher also we respect. Provided, of course, the teacher is reliable and qualified. Not anybody who says teacher, but qualified teachers you must respect, wholehearted respect. And develop faith, veneration, and don't make fun of that teacher. If you listen to that teacher, if you don't have that respect, you will be the loser. You will not be able to learn anything. And of course, in general also we need to respect everybody. And especially, of course, with the teacher. Okay? And then make offerings to the teacher. This I explained yesterday also. Make offering means not just money. Make offering means I already explained this.
To implement the teaching.
Huh?
To implement.
Implement, practice the teaching, that's the offering. Okay? Next is process of listening to the teaching. With regard to process of listening to the teaching, give up the 3 folds of a pot or a vessel and apply 6 recognitions. Give up the 3 folds of a pot means just like a pot or a vessel. When you listen to the teaching, pay full attention. It should not be like these 3 types of pots. If the pot, for example, in the case of the pot, if the pot is turned upside down, you can't put anything inside. Now, even if the pot is in its proper correct posture, but inside the pot, if there is some filth, right? Then even if you put honey or anything, delicious food, it will be spoiled. Right? Right? And then if the pot is leaky, then whatever you put inside, it will go out. So that means, number 1, even though you are physically here among the listeners, but if you do not pay full attention, paying full attention is normally very difficult. The mind, goes out very easily. You look like listening, but your mind may be what you will eat for dinner, the friend coming to see you, or unfinished work in your room. You may be thinking about those things. Your mind can easily slip. That must not be there. So if you do that, then it's like pot upside down. Nothing will go into your mind. You made a lot of attempt. Some of you came from very far off places in Delhi, or some of them even from Dharamsala and others. So, with all this effort, if you don't pay attention, because this particular teaching is not so difficult, it's just 1 hour, more or less, and half. The half is question answer, so it's just 1 hour. So that you should pay attention. Second, even if you are listening, but if you are listening with the wrong motivation, meaning that I will listen to this teaching, get some knowledge, then I will myself become a teacher. And then started collecting money. If you become a teacher, there's no problem. The problem is if you listen to this teaching with motivation to earn money, to become famous, right? Wrong motivation. To earn money, there are so many other methods. You don't have to use dharma to earn money. So that is also possible. Now, even if these 2 faults are not there, but when you are listening to the teaching, if you don't try to understand the meaning of particular words, meaning of the particular meaning and words, you will not be able to get the full meaning of the teaching. Words also should not ignore words. Words are like sticks for the old man. Just for the old man, walking stick is very important. So that old man is like the meaning. Words are like walking stick. Just like the old man is able to get up by relying on the walking stick. So it's with the help of the word you are able to know the meaning. Right? So that must be there. So that means you should not be like a leaky pot. यहाँ से सुना, यहाँ से निकल दिया. ऐसा नहीं. So therefore, if you really want to achieve some success, not only in the Buddhist teaching, otherwise also what I recommend people is, what I call is preview, actual teaching, and review. If you're serious, meaning before you come to the teaching, read this text and see how much meaning you are able to get it. Then compare it when the teacher explains the teaching. Right? So that will help you know things very easily. Preview. then actually listening to the teaching. Then what many of us do is, after having listened to the teaching, then we just close the book. Not only today, for the rest of life, for some people. For some people, until the next teacher comes or whatever. So how can we hope to get anything just by attending a short session and never doing any review, any effort from one's own side? And you are all highly qualified people, I believe. So it's very easy. If you make some effort, you have the basic knowledge, So therefore it's very easy. So it's very important to do some preview, then listen carefully, then review. Review if needed many times. And when you do the review, if it is not clear, then question answer during this teaching or to some other teachers. That must be there. Then you will be able to understand. So these are the the three faults of a poet which you must give up when you listen to the teaching. And the next is 6 recognitions or perceptions. I don't know which English word is the right word, or maybe motivations, whatever. So when you listen to the teaching, you should have this recognition like as if you are a sick person. Why you are coming for the teaching? Because you are sick from the influence of the negative emotions. I'm not saying you are all physically sick, but sick means not very well. So that is there, negative emotions. We are sick with the negative emotions. So recognize that. I'm afflicted by these negative emotions, right? And the teacher should be perceived as the physician, the doctor who gives you the guidance. And then your repeated practice of the teaching should be seen similar like you are trying to recover from that illness. And then the actual teaching should be recognized as the medicine. And then recognize the Tathagatas, the Buddhas, as the real sublime beings. And therefore you should develop this recognition and wish that may this teaching of the Buddha stay for a long, long time for the benefit of all sentient beings. With regard to the first, recognizing oneself as a sick person means we have today very strong influence of negative emotions. We are suffering from almost like chronic illnesses. Negative emotions like anger, jealousy, hatred, these things are with us for a long, long time. And it is because of these negative emotions we often get sick, physically sick, mentally sick. What? So they are all there. So therefore, almost like you're always sick, ill. And seeing the teacher as the physician means if you are suffering from imbalances of your body according to the ordinary medical treatment, then you need to look for a qualified teacher, qualified doctor or physician. And when you meet such a qualified physician, you feel very happy. Maybe now this doctor has the capacity to heal me. So therefore you listen to whatever the doctor says. So much so that you are even ready to undertake operation and surgery. So therefore when you are mentally sick, you also need to rely on such a qualified teacher to let him do whatever operation or surgery, not the physical surgery, but so therefore listen to the teacher with respect, veneration, and seek such qualified teachers. And when you meet such teachers, you should not see this teacher as a burden, but as an ornament. You're lucky that I met His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as we say, something like that. And listen whatever he says. Now listen whatever he says. This is what is here in the text. Listen whatever he says doesn't mean Doesn't mean, for example, if you meet wrong teacher, as I said the other day, before you accept somebody as your teacher, analyze, take time, judge and analyze. See whether that person is qualified or not. And having examined, when you have accepted somebody as your teacher, then you should rely and listen to that teacher. That's the meaning. So the teacher should be qualified. Now this does not mean to say that the teacher knows everything. So don't be stupid. This is important because in the many Buddhist texts they say, oh, you listen to whatever the teacher says. Now here if you meet a wrong teacher, and then stupidly you listen to whatever he says, you will be in problem. I have myself personally met so-called teachers who had taken away all the wealth, money from that so-called obedient student. I know one French lady, elderly lady, she met somebody. I'm not going to say Buddhist or Christian or whatever, I don't want to say. She met somebody. So she was interested in spiritually. She went there. So that person said, we are building ashram or something, we need money. She gave a lot of money, built a lot of ashrams, she had a lot of money, anything. And then gradually she even sold some of her houses. And later he was demanding more money. When she said, now I have no money, then he said, then you have no place here to stay. There are many, unfortunately, so-called teachers like that. So you have to use your dimag. Kal bola tha na maine. So it is possible you confront such teachers. Even after do some kind of examination, you will not be able to know everything. So even after some kind of examination, if you meet such a teacher, use your brain. ऐसा मेरे पास बहुत कहानी है. I think there is no harm in telling this. I met another one who followed some teacher, a particular teacher. Then after some time that teacher mistreated her. So she came weeping to see me. I was then working with His Holiness Dalai Lama. She came weeping because she heard about me, knows about me a little bit, not much, because I was His Holiness translator. Then she said, I had this problem. I have no idea to whom I turn to. But I know you have this liberal thinking and mind, so this has happened with me. What should I do? Then I said, in the initial stage, he has been kind. So therefore, that part he is kind. Say thank you to that. Now he is not good. So you don't have to stay with him now. Without ill intention. Okay, just like marriage, you see. शुरू में था जब हनीमून चल रहा था बहुत था अच्छा था अभी गड़बड़ हो गया divorce. Use your common sense, I told her. Like that. So use your common sense. Otherwise in some text it says if you don't listen what the teacher says you will go to Vajra hell. And many people misunderstand this because that is within a special context. So some teachers without explaining that special context they generalize it. And probably to gather the obedience of the student, they'll say, you need to listen to whatever the teacher says. If the teacher says, jump from the 9th floor and commit suicide, will you do? And there are many stupid students also. They say, oh, my teacher told me to do this. So I always tell them, okay, if your teacher tells you to jump from the 9th floor and commit suicide, will you do it? फिर बोलता है, ऐसा तो मैं नहीं करेगा. So therefore use your khopri. Really, show respect wherever possible, and whenever things doesn't work in accordance with the teaching or your even common sense, then you have every right to keep quiet, not to follow. That's important. The teachings are also made by human beings, right? Dharmas are also made by human beings. So we have every right to use our brain and should have the capacity what to follow, what not to follow. So that part you should understand properly. Because otherwise people in the beginning, almost like marriages, oh, he's my teacher, my guru. I've seen many people, some like very devoted, even from a distance, they would like, my guru. Then after a while, they are not in good harmony. Then they say all the bad things. It's not good. That's not good. It's like human relationship. Your relationship with the teacher is also a human relationship. And in terms of human relationship, this Kamala Shila's stages of meditation, he says, in terms of human relationship, it should be like your relationship with the fire. If you stay too close with the fire, it will burn you. Familiarity breeds contempt, जैसे मैंने कल बोला था. If you stay too far away, you will not get the warmth or the heat of the fire. So remain in such a distance that it is not, mutually disadvantageous or destructive, something like that. ठीक है ना? It's important. Okay. And then his teaching should be seen as a medicine. Even if you meet a highly qualified doctor and gives you a very good medicine, if you don't take that medicine, your illness will not be healed. Right? So similarly, even if you meet a very good teacher, if you don't practice his teaching, it will be of no benefit. Until now, it is said countless Buddhas have come, but still here we are, because we did not practice. That's what we do even when we take medicine, When you are not very ill, then, oh, I must go to doctor, ask for some medicine. The doctor gives you some medicine. But if you're not very sick, then say, oh, yeah, medicine is so bitter, I don't like, you don't eat it. So how can you get recovered? Either you should not go to the doctor, ask for medicine, or you should take it. ऐसा करता है ना हम लोग. हाँ, ठीक है. So you should cherish and highly regard those teachings. See that as very important. With many-fold efforts, make sure that you are able to retain the meaning and the words and do not waste the teaching. Then, having listened to the teaching, doing repeated practice is really the way to recover you from illness. As I said, if you don't take the medicine, you will not be recovered. So, therefore, you need to practice. And this is really, really important. Practice, practice. Practice makes man perfect, whatever. Practice is very important. I have seen everywhere, in the field of education, in the field of religious practice, the area where we fail miserably is practice. Understanding the teaching is also difficult, but there is not too difficult. As I said earlier, most of us know what I should be doing, what I should not be doing. There are many things I should not be doing this, but you keep on doing that. There are many things you know that I should be doing, you are not able to do that. Hena, you analyze it for yourself. That is, in my case, it is like that. I'm sure it is similar in your case also. So what is important is practice. Those things that you are sure not good, don't do it. Whether it's Buddhist practice, whether it's issues of health, anything that is harmful, don't do it. Anything that's useful, do it. Then it will help you. Right? And then regard the Tathagatas as sublime beings, because all these teachings come from Buddha, Tathagata. So recollect Tathagata and show respect and veneration. That is why Buddhists, they keep images of Buddha in their shrine. Normally, if you are Buddhist, then normally you put in your shrine image of Buddha, if possible 3 things: image of the Buddha and a small scripture like Heart Sutra, and small stupa, which are representative of his body, speech and mind. His body represented by that image, his speech reminded by that scripture, and his mind symbolized by that stupa. So if you want to keep many other deities like Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, this is up to you, but at least these three things must be there. But if you are an advanced practitioner who is able to visualize all this, then you don't need anything. Like Milarepa, he was moving, as I said earlier, from mountain to mountain, living in empty cave. Once he was meditating in an empty dark cave, a thief came and he was groping in the darkness. Milarepa laughed and said, "What do you hope to get in this pitch black darkness when I don't see anything in the broad daylight?" So if you are somebody like that, then you don't need any of these things. Otherwise it's good, these are reminders. Now people also say, oh, but the Buddhists, they keep these images, they are idol worshipper. No, once I told you this earlier. Yeah, I think I told you this earlier. Yeah, this is only reminder. Okay. So how to give the teaching, that I will not explain. I'll just escape that part. Then to whom you should give the teaching? Or maybe I'll explain it just if you want to become a teacher next time. With regard to process of teaching, again you should think about the benefit of teaching. For example, when I'm giving this teaching, whether you are benefiting or not, I don't know. But I need to review many times, read again and again. So I get benefit, right? And then similarly pay respect to the teaching and the teacher. And then next is with what motivation and the practice you should give the teaching, and to whom you should give the teaching, and to whom you should not give the teaching. First is reflecting on the benefits of teaching. The benefits of teaching will be there if you give a teaching without consideration for name and fame and offerings, then the benefit is extensive. Because if you give such a teaching without this inferior motivations and considerations, your memory will improve, your intelligence will improve, your three poisons will decrease, and you will not be invincible, you will not be disturbed by negative forces. So these things will be there for the listeners also. And of course you will be fulfilling the wishes of the Buddhas. So there are countless advantages and benefits. Second is showing respect to the teacher and the teaching. Meaning that when the Buddha taught the Wisdom Perfection Sutra, he himself came and prepared his seat, throne, where he is going to give the teaching. He prepared this throne for giving the teaching, not because he wanted to sit on a high throne, but he is explaining the teaching to show respect to Buddha and the teaching. He prepared his throne. Because Dharma or the teaching is such that even the Buddhas pay veneration and respect. So therefore there must be proper veneration and respect. And of course this teaching comes from the Buddha, so recall the qualities of the Buddha and be thankful. With what kind of motivation and practice you should explain? When you give the teaching, as I said earlier, that because you are giving the teaching, you should consider yourself as a doctor, and the Dharma as a medicine, and the listener as a sick, ill person, and the Tathagata as sublime being, and also expect that this teaching remains for a long time, and likewise those sentient beings who are in the samsara, meditate on loving kindness towards them, and give up jealousy, laziness, discouragement, or self-proclamation, or finding faults of others, or being stingy in explaining certain meanings, and give up, as I said, considering that people will give me money, offering things like that. And it should be taught simply for oneself and others to actualize the state of Buddhahood. So you should consider this as a very special privilege. And therefore, when you come for the teaching, also you should take bath and come clean and wear nice clothes, clean clothes. This is not only with respect to the teacher, the students should also be like that. Normally, when we say that, the clear indication that you are very interested in the teaching is normally when you come for the teaching, you should come a little bit early, 5-10 minutes. And of course, traffic and other things now are not under your control, but otherwise, in normal situation, come with happy mind, few steps earlier. And when the teaching is finished, don't just run away. Again, now we are unfortunately in different situation. You may be, you may have to catch up something. So this is a different thing, but in normal situation, you should not just run away. You should leave the session with a little bit of reluctance. That again, one very important occasion has come to an end. Just like leaving your best friend behind, right? So all these things are there. Then come with a smile. Come for the teaching with a smile. And don't come to the teaching as if you are undergoing a very difficult exam. Right? And then it is said that the place where the teaching takes place should also be very clean. So I hope this is clean. Right? But this is a normal auditorium. So, and then prepare the meditation seat. And then normally now this is not a very formal teaching, so it's okay. It's a modern teaching, almost like modern teaching. But normally, when a qualified teacher gives a traditional teaching, then the proper throne is prepared and all those things are there. And before the teaching starts, the teacher makes 3 prostrations. And then when he climbs on the throne, before climbing on the throne, he snaps his finger. He will do like this. The reason that he did the prostration is to become humble. And then doing like this is to say that I should not be arrogant. Everything that is conditioned is impermanent. How long I am going to live, I don't know. Just like this sound. So, to reduce arrogance. So with this kind of motivation, one should give the teaching. There's the process. Now to whom you should teach, to whom you should not teach. In normal situations, not necessarily right now. Normally, if you are not requested, don't give teaching. This is the process. Now, these days, there are so many teachers who announce that I am giving this teaching, this, that, and then, and they make nice posters and, and they use all the media, say, I'm giving teaching, I'm giving teaching, I'm giving teaching, I'm giving teaching, so that you get a lot of people coming there. The more people there, the more you become like famous. Right? करता है ना आजकल मेरे से अभी तक नहीं हुआ अब कोशिश करूँगा ठीक है ना so until now in my case I can say I'm not giving any teaching without being requested. This is also requested. Now I am thinking even if not requested I should give some teaching because many people are saying it is beneficial. This is not against the teaching because it says don't give teaching if you are not requested. Even if you requested, you should examine the listeners. Of course, I can't do this. In this kind of situation, I can't do this, but I can figure out who is interested, who is not interested, who is asking nonsense. That I can figure out, and accordingly I give responses, right? And it says, if you know that such and such person is a fit student, fit listener, then even if you are not requested, give teaching. That's what I'm saying. If you really feel somebody is really interested but doesn't have the courage to request you, I have seen such people also, then in that case you should help that person, give the teaching. And then also, you cannot give a teaching. The teacher is sitting there and the listener is standing there with this like this. So what? What do you mean by dharma? This is not proper. This is not proper, to show respect. So there are many kind of protocols. And then in the conclusion, you should dedicate any merit that is earned through listening, through teaching, to fulfill your or others' temporary and ultimate purposes. So this is how you listen to the teaching. And then after having listened to the teaching, then you give the actual teaching. So when you give the actual teaching, then the first thing is to find the right teacher, as we already read yesterday. How to find the right teacher, having found the right teacher, how to train your mind. And I explain a little bit about the qualities of the teacher and so forth. Then the student, some of the qualities again that must be there with the student. The listener or the student, the mind of the student should not be biased. Some people come for teaching with a biased attitude. They will see whether this teaching is in accordance with their wish or not, in accordance with their thinking, already adopted dharma, particular religion or things like that. If it is not there, then they say, he's teaching Bhagavad se kuch nahi. Aisa nahi karna chahiye. Of course, you can always ask question, but that should not be, your knowledge should not be the yardstick for that. In other words, taking those things which you like and not taking those things which is difficult for you to practice or which you don't like. Right? So your mind should not be biased, unbiased. And second quality is you should have that intelligence to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. So you can ask questions to the teacher, right? And you should also have this capacity to make effort to practice the teaching and respect to the teacher and the teaching. And then mental entrustment, paying attention, like that. Okay, if I keep on explaining this, it will never come to finish. Because we can't expect much, okay, during such short sessions. Just 1 hour, we can't explain the whole Lam Rim. So, just a little bit here and there. Okay. So yesterday we read the verse number 14. Verse number 15, there is no certainty that after death we may not be born in the lower realms. The protection from such terror lies in the three jewels alone, so we must make firm the practice of going for refuge and ensure that its precepts are never undermined. This in turn depends on contemplating well the white and black karma and their effects, and on perfect observance of ethical norms. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should be likewise, should do likewise. So yesterday we discussed a little bit about death, right? Are you interested to listen more about death, or we'll just go? Huh? A little bit. Are you not scared? You are very brave. Okay. First, let me speak a little bit about the three doors. Three doors. If you want to become a Buddhist, the door is taking refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. If you want to become a Mahayanist, the door is cultivation of bodhicitta. If you want to do some tantric practice, the door is abhishek, initiation, empowerment. So these three are the gateways. I'm not saying you have to become a Buddhist, it is up to you. If you want to become Buddhist, that is the process. Take refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. The meaning that you don't become a Buddhist by, having a Lama sprinkling some so-called blessed water on your head and then, oh, you are Buddhist, give you a name and you are Buddhist. No. Some people do that, but the actual process is before you say you want to become a Buddhist, before you decide you want to become Buddhist, study the teaching. Especially when you talk about taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, you need to find out who these three guys are. Who is Buddha, who is Dharma, who is Sangha? Why should I take refuge in them? Study. And through that knowledge, if you think this is really a great object of refuge, then you can become a Buddhist through your own decision. Right? But that is up to you. And His Holiness Dalai Lama always says, don't change religion quickly, because you will face complications. You have every right to change your religion, but don't change it quickly. In case if you change your religion, that is your right, but after having changed your religion, don't say bad things to your previous religion. Right? And then, of course, the question arises: why should at all? Some people ask this question also: why I should have one particular religion? I take a little bit from Buddhism, I take a little bit from Christianity, a little bit from Islam. People have asked me this question: how about that? I said, if you don't want to specialize, it's good. When you are in the lower classes, you have many subjects: mathematics, biology, geography, physics, whatever, so many subjects. But when you go higher and higher, you have less and less subjects. Finally, when you do PhD, you specialize. Then you choose one subject. That doesn't mean that you hate the other subjects. So similarly, adopting one religion means you are supposed to be specializing in it. Right? Meaning that if you are somebody who really want to take a dedicated line to achieve certain spiritual height, then you need to do this kind of specialization. But if you don't want to do that and you want to have some feel-good practices, a little bit from here, a little bit, then it's okay. But you are not going to achieve any spiritual depth. Right? So, that's the thing. Okay. So yesterday we read this line in verse number verse number 13. This life of leisure is even more precious than a wish-granting jewel. That I have found such an existence is only this once. So hard to find, yet like a flash of lightning, it is easy to vanish. So here it is talking about impermanence in general and especially death. Difficult to find, but no idea how long you are going to stay. So why this topic on death is important? The topic on death is important because when you talk about engaging in these various stages of the path, practice of the various stages of the path, then these practices are not only for this life, but for many lives to come. Right? It's really seeking the ways and means to get peace and happiness, not only in this life, but for many lives to come. So here you are compelled to think that I am not going to live here in this world for a very long time. That nobody can deny. We are all, as I mentioned earlier, we are all, death is definite for everybody. And time of death is unfortunately indefinite. We are very good in modern, modern time. We are very good in making appointments, but the Lord of Death, Lord of the Messenger or the Lord of Death will not seek your appointment. When do you want to die? We neither came into this world with fixed time. Nobody asked us, when do you want to be born in the world? किसी ने आपको consult करके थोड़ी आया है. So similarly, when we die also, nobody will consult. Which day is better for you to take the journey? You are not taking a flight to America or Canada or something like that. You are dying. So you can't decide which day you want to die unless you are spiritually highly evolved. Right? So time of death is indefinite. It can come any time. Any time means any time. Then when at the time of the death, the only thing that is beneficial is your spiritual practice and nothing else. Okay, listen to this carefully. At the time of the death, the only thing that is beneficial is your spiritual practice and nothing else. As I said yesterday, you can't even take your body with you, which you brought with you when you were born. ठीक है ना? यहीं बैठ सकता है ना, यहीं कहीं बैठ जाओ, कोई क्या फर्क है? हाँ? Okay. ठीक है ना? So at the time of the death, the only thing that is beneficial is your spiritual practice. You can't take your dollars, you can't take your rupees, you can't take your jewelry, you can't even take your MasterCard. Because right now there's no ATM to use your MasterCard. You can't take anything with you. This is 100% sure. So spiritual practice is beneficial means if you have used your mind, cultivated your mind in the real positive direction, that will help you. If you have accumulated merits, if you have accumulated positive practices like loving kindness, compassion and so forth, that will 100% help you. So the good practitioners, Dharma practitioners, when they die with a great smile on their face. There is a phrase which says that this is like returning to one's own homeland. Because you are familiar what is there in the next life. Good things are waiting for you. In higher cases, heaven is waiting for you. Right? So it's like returning to your homeland. Now those who have done many negative things, when they are alive, they pretend they are very brave. They don't hesitate in chopping and cutting and killing and stealing, whatever. When the death seizes them, they are terrified because of this, having no practice and this fear of losing oneself and identity, they're full of fear. Right? So therefore, it is important to remember this fact that we are not going to live in this world very long. Therefore, recollect and remember death, if possible, every day. So this is 4 points. First is the faults of not meditating on the recollection of death. The faults, disadvantages of not recollecting death. और सीट नहीं है? Yeah, Hannah, there is one seat here. Yeah, sit Hannah, sit here. ठीक है ना? Faults of not meditating on remembering the death. Faults, disadvantages of not remembering, not meditating on remembering the death. Advantages of meditating on death. What kind of mind recollecting death should be cultivated? And the actual process of meditating on recollection of death. The faults of not meditating on remembering the death is everybody, especially when you are thinking, everybody has this idea that one day I will die. We have that understanding. All of us have that understanding. But the problem is every day we think I'm not going to die today. And this question you ask to an old man of 90 years old, not only old but maybe physically sick, if you ask this old man, are you going to die soon? He will say, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to die very soon. Are you going to die tonight? Today? Today, maybe not. That's the problem. That's the problem. Because of this thinking, siding towards that I'm not going to die, that continues until to the time when you really undergo death. Because of this, you will not cultivate the counter forces against this process of thinking. And because of this, you will plan to live here forever. That's why one very important Buddhist thinking is meditation on impermanence, including death. But ordinarily, right now you're thinking, we are all thinking, so we understand impermanence is important, death is important, it is there. But in our day-to-day busy life, we always plan to live, to live, to live, to live, to live. Right? That's there. And if you remain focused to live here, then how will you think about future lives? How will you think about attaining liberation, enlightenment, and all these great purposes? You will not be able to think about it. And therefore your mind will not enter into Dharma practice. And even if you listen and think, meditate a little bit, most of this listening, thinking, and meditation will be used for the well-being of this life, not for the future life. So therefore, whatever virtuous practices you do, it will have very little impact, very little power. And then in between you will be overpowered by sleep, laziness, gossiping, rumor mongering. You will spend your life like that. And then food, drink, 100,000 distractions, especially in today's world. So you will not be able to engage in proper Dharma practice. So therefore, it is in this way that you are cheated, you are deceived by yourself with this thinking that I will live for a long, long time. And because of that, you will get obsessed with respect, with food, with clothing, and then anybody who obstructs your pursuing these objects, you will be angry with these people. है ना? आजकल कितना कोर्ट केसेस चल रहा है. And you will also develop ignorance, and will not be able to focus on the faults of this. And then arrogance, jealousy, all these negative emotions will come. Just like strong, uh, stream of water of negative emotions will be there. And from there, then you will cultivate the 10 non-virtuous activities and commit 5 heinous crimes, including giving up the Dharma. Thus you will end up collecting many negative dharmas, and that will, at the end, project your life into a negative state of existence. You don't have to wait for the next life. Even in this life, you will see life kahan se kahan ja raha hai with this negative ways of thinking. So these are the disadvantages of not meditating on remembering the death. Next is advantages of meditating on the death. If you develop a genuine recollection of death, for example, if you have this conclusive understanding that you might die today and tomorrow, and even if you have some little understanding of Dharma, then you will not develop this attachment to your relatives and your possessions and your friends, because now you are able to clearly see that you are not going to live with them for a long time. You are not going to associate with this for a long time. So your obsession and craving towards these things will be reduced. And instead, you will develop this strong wish to extract the meaning of this human life. So as we already read, then you will see this, obsession to respect and fame and name. As we already read, is like throwing the husk in the wind. So therefore, in order to stop your negative deeds, you take refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. You will observe morality, and you will make perseverance and effort. And even though this physical body itself is fragile, but you will extract the meaning out of it, and thereby you will gradually ascend to the higher states. And you will not only ascend to the higher states like liberation, enlightenment, you will also be able to take other people with you. You will also be able to guide other sentient beings with you. So therefore, recollecting the dead is like a hammer that will at one stroke destroy negative emotions and the negative conducts that is ensued from these afflictive emotions. It is because of this first teaching that the Buddha gave us on impermanence. After he got enlightened, when he was requested to give the teaching, he said, I found something that is profound, peaceful, free from fabrication, clear light, unconditioned. To whomever I teach it, nobody will understand it. Leave me alone. I'm not going to teach. And then with repeated request, when he finally gave the teaching, then the teaching that he gave us, the teaching on the Four Noble Truth, about which we'll actually, I'll say something, then next time we can just quickly go. The first teaching that he gave us, the teaching on the Four Noble Truth. Suffering, causes of suffering, happiness, causes of happiness. Four Noble Truth. So the first teaching that he gave us, the truth of the suffering. When he explained the truth of the suffering, he explained truth of suffering with 4 features. The first feature was impermanence. Because if you don't have this understanding of death, impermanence, you will not make a move. So this is really important. With very good understanding of impermanence, death, your obsession to things, your attachment to things, your craving to things, your addiction to many things will come to an end. Otherwise you will plan to live here forever. right? So this is very, very important. Next is Next is what kind of mind recollecting the death should be cultivated? In other words, when we talk about developing a fear of the death, what kind of fear of death we should collect? When we say you should have fear of death, it doesn't mean that I'm going to die, I'll be separated from all my relatives, I will have to leave all my belongings behind me. Not such fear. Here, fear means in the future lives, if I die before I'm able to stop the causes for negative rebirth, if I die before I'm able to collect the causes for achieving higher rebirth, like the life of a human being again, and also nirvana, enlightenment, before I am able to cultivate such causes, if I die, then I will be in great trouble. This kind of fear. Not the fear that you will be separated from your relatives and friends, your body will be left behind. This is ordinary fear. This is no meaning, not much meaning to Dharma practice. Because if you have this right fear that I've explained, then there's something you can do right now. You can stop the negative causes for negative rebirth. You can cultivate the causes for positive rebirth. There are things you can do. The ordinary fear is useless because whether you have that fear or not fear, you're going to die. So that's of no use, right? So therefore, what is important is nowadays because of the news that comes in the television and on newspapers and things like that, and also with the help of your Google Baba and other things, you can just see how many people are dying in one day. The counting is there. The people are dying like this. Similarly, birth is also like so mar raha hai people, right? And then also read the obituaries. Every day you hear. So therefore, when you hear about death of other people, don't remain immune. Oh, next may be my turn. Next may be my turn. Among many of my friends have heard before that I tell these stories here, that there a human, somebody made friendship with a ghost. That ghost had some kind of clairvoyance. So this human friend said that I want to enjoy life, but I also want to do some practice when the death is about to come. And since you have clairvoyance, please tell me a little bit in advance. This is exactly what we don't have a ghost friend, otherwise our thinking is very similar. So the ghost friend said, yes, I will, of course. Time passed, and one day the ghost appeared and said, my dear friend, one of the family members down died yesterday. He said, oh, is it so? So sorry. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, हम लोग यही करते हैं ना. So sorry. If you know the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, then Om Mani Padme Hum, whatever, Ram or whatever. But he lives without any change. He continues his life of mirth and enjoyment, things like that, as before. And after some time, the ghost again comes, my dear friend, one of the family members living off, they died yesterday. Oh, is that so sad, so sad. But he continues his life as before. No change, nothing. And one day the ghost suddenly comes and says, my dear friend, it is your time to go. And then he gets a little bit angry by saying, how come you are saying that I have to go now? I requested you to tell me a little bit in advance. Then the ghost said, I have never seen a stupid person like you. I told you 2 times. Idhar se chala gaya, udhar se chala, somebody died there, somebody... You should have this knowledge that next may be my turn. This is exactly like this story. We think like that, I'm not going to... Right now I'm healthy, I'm not going to die. Right now I'm young, I'm not going to die. Right now there are so many medical facilities there. Heart transplantation before I'm not going to die. We think like that, you see. I wish that you don't die, you live long, do good things. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. And then also this very notion that I want to live long. Why we want to live long? You have every right to live long. But what are you going to do by living long? Abhi tak aapne kya kiya? What did you do until now? Having lived so many years. And what are you going to do if you live many? This is an important question because we have this inherent kind of wish to live long and scared of death. What are you going to do by living long? Living long is meaningful if you use your life in a meaningful way. Otherwise, I'll again tell you a story, then I'll stop. It's an old Indian story. There was a man who lived, whose age was 1,000 years. And this is just a story. And he had 100 sons. So the eldest was maybe 600, 700, and then so on and so forth. The youngest was 15 years old. So one day the Lord of Death came and he said, you lived too long. You are 1,000 years old. And then the father said, yes, I know I lived 1,000 years old, but I don't want to die. So the messenger of death, you said you lived very long, you have to go. He said, no, I know I lived very long, but I don't want to go. So I have so many sons, take one of them. Mera ek beta le jao. Then the Lord of Death goes to the senior-most son. He also says the same thing. Then the next, then the next, then the next. Nobody wants to die. No. Take the other one, take the other one. Finally he goes to the youngest, who was only 15 years old. Then this boy, who is only 15 years old, he said, yes, I want to go. He was very happy. Yes, I want to go. And then the messenger of death, he was like kind of surprised. He said, why your father doesn't want to go? All your elder brothers doesn't want to go. You are so young, and you seem to be very excited to die. Why? He said, since my father who lived so long, my brothers who lived so long, since they did not get anything, I don't think I'll get anything by living long. So I want to go. And this is a very, very interesting story, you see. As I said, I wish that you all live long, we all live long, but just by living long, it's not good enough. Right? Okay, so stop here and ask some questions. Yeah. Yeah, either do, Mike.
The 5 principles of Buddhism: right path, right speech, right action, right
Yes.
thoughts, and right mindfulness.
Yes.
So, I'm a carpenter, furniture, and there's a monk who wears clothes. I wear clothes. He says the right mantras, and I do my right work. He eats food, I eat food.
Yes.
If he's on the right path, and I'm on the right path, I'm doing my work correctly, do I have to come here?
I don't know who told you to come here.
No, I'm just asking.
No, this is
If
different.
I'm on the right path in my life, in my
No,
work.
no. Right path has different meaning. One right path is your carpentry work is the right path in the sense, if you're doing it honestly,
Yeah.
being very honest, earn your livelihood properly, that sense it is right path. But
I'm doing with my right thoughts, right mind,
right
right
thought,
action.
this is the question. So from where you are, you have to learn this right thought. That's why you are here to learn. The right thought doesn't come just by doing carpentry.
But I'm doing the right work, what I was born for.
Right work that will have its positive effect, but limited effect. If you want to achieve higher kind of spiritual heights, then you need to know more, uh, more of the inner development qualities, right?
Can science and religion coexist?
Science religions, there are a lot of discussions about whether science and religions are friends or antagonistic. There are many areas where they contribute each other. Many areas they don't go together. I will speak a little bit about the areas where they work together. If you look at this word science, science came from this Latin word scientia. Scientia means knowledge. So therefore, science also is saying that you are suffering because you don't have the knowledge. If you have the knowledge how to make electricity, you don't have to sit in darkness. That is how they produce electricity. If you have the knowledge to produce an aeroplane, you can fly. So because of this, science was able to remove many of our problems, like bringing light and traveling and medicine, so many things. Right? So remove that kind of lack of knowledge in that area. Similarly, Buddhism also says, source of all problem is ignorance. You must have wisdom. Now here, here the difference is, science is primarily talking about removing the external physical difficulties, material difficulties. Buddhism is talking about inner difficulties, inner afflictive emotions. So the goal is same. One is dealing with human body, one is primarily dealing with human mind. Yeah. And then also with the human, for example, in other words, we can say science is talking more about the external environment, the constellations, the moons, the sun, and all these things. Buddhism is talking more about the human beings living in that environment. Now when it comes to the human being, science is talking more about human brain, human body, things like that. Buddhism is talking more about human mind. Right? Then finally, of course, Buddhism talks about human mind going to the next life, so many other things. So there are similarities, differences. Focus is different. Okay, next question.
Hi. So, Geshe, you talked about how nobody knows if they're going to die today, which makes me think of people who have suicidal thoughts. They're actually partaking in the process of defining the time and manner of death, their death, and which eventually happens for some people. And while one school of thought, which I also believe in, is suicide is actually spiritual death, where you have to end a certain way of life that is not working out for you and make changes towards something that does work out for you. So what does Buddhism talk about suicide per se? Because it is also death, but humanly defined.
You should read this story of Leo Tolstoy, the famous Russian thinker, right? Writer, very famous. But so he was very famous, great writer. He was always, when he was young, he was always chased by people, surrounded by people, many admirers were there. Then gradually when he grew old, not many people followed him. He sank into depression. He used to, as a pastime, he used to carry a gun and kill rabbits, rabbit hunting. And because of depression, on and off, he thought, oh, now I have to be careful, I might shoot myself. He went into that kind of depression. Then he started asking the question, what is the meaning of human life? So I'm not going to say much. Read, anybody interested, read it there. Right? So anyway, the Buddhist answer is, you cannot find a quick solution just by committing suicide. According to Buddhism, committing suicide is also killing human being, because you are a human being. And if you, even if you physically eliminate yourself, your mind will continue, So the problems, difficulties, if there's any, might continue. So that's not the solution. And especially when you go into the tantric practice, you need to visualize your body as a divine abode. So killing oneself is a heinous crime, right? So that's not encouraged. Yeah.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
We spoke about conflict in Gaza, and we also spoke about some people refer to personal problems that they may have. My question is the material world an illusion? And if it is an illusion, how do we respond to it?
Material world is an illusion, of course. But here you need to, illusion doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? Illusion has many different meanings. Illusion here means things don't exist as you think, just like mirage, right? From a distance, in the desert, you see water. It's an illusion because when you come closer, you don't find any water. So similarly, right now we are thinking things are existing independently, inherently. So whether this is true or not, you explore. And when you explore, you don't find anything having independent inherent. That's the meaning of illusion. But that doesn't mean to say you don't exist. Because you exist, you need to eat food, you need to sleep, you need to take care of yourself, you can practice, you can get enlightened, you see. So therefore, this is very profound. Your question is very profound. The teaching on that is very profound. As I cited this verse yesterday, there are many interesting citations. One citation says, to this illusion-like phenomena, if you think this is an illusion, if you meditate this is an illusion, and then you will get enlightened like an illusion. Similarly, to this phenomena, things, which is like a dream, if you contemplate this as a dream and meditate on this as a dream, you will get enlightened as a dream. Now, dream as a dream doesn't mean in dream there is nothing. Dream maybe, even in dream you get nightmare, even in dream you get happiness. Huh? Now, if I try to explain this a little bit more clear, for example, think about if you are, say, today 30 years old, think about what has happened in the past 30 years. If you make a movie out of it, it's a 30 years long movie. But today, if you reflect about that 30 years, recall that memory of your 30 years experience and compare it with the dream that you had last night, what is the difference? It's just a memory. That's the meaning. So it's not saying that it's like illusion, it's like memory, they are not there. It's not saying they are there, but you need to understand all this as a dream, as illusion, so that you don't get obsessed with it. Problem hai na, this is not easy. This reminded me this question that I got when I was giving a public talk in Moscow many years back. I was talking something like this, that you be happy, things like that, Right? Why am I saying this? Huh? Huh?
Because it's like an illusion or it's like not an illusion?
I'm not sure why I'm saying this. Anyway, yeah, so I was saying something like this, then among the public sitting in the front seat, there was an elderly Russian lady. She said, Geshe-la, you spoke about these good things, that you should be happy, things like that. How can I be happy? I am a very, as you can see, I am a very elderly Russian lady. I live alone, nobody supporting me, things like that. So how can I be happy? So I told her, yes, I understand, I'm sorry if you have this kind of problems, but still I think I said this the other day also. That you have both eyes intact, both hands intact, things. So the meaning is, things are illusion, but it is there. Things are there. Doesn't mean things are not there. So this is the difficulty, because in our case, so now I remembered why I'm saying this. Not this elderly lady, young man, he got up. I spoke about this illusion and things like that. Yes, now I remember. This young man, he got up and said, if everything is like an illusion, how can I love my girlfriend? That was the thing. Why he is saying this? We all think like that. Because when we love somebody, we want somebody concrete there, somebody there, concrete, worthy of showering all your love, something that you can feel and touch and hug, and somebody who will never get separate from you, who will always be there. That's the problem. In reality, that doesn't function like that. Then you get problem, you see. So then as a response I said, if you understand that everything is an illusion, not only you can love your girlfriend, but you can love your girlfriend much more than before. Because, my reason was because if your girlfriend is not impermanent, not an illusion, but existing independently, inherently, permanently, where is the hurry? You can love her anytime. She will always be there. Because things are like impermanent illusion. She may be gone tomorrow. She may die tomorrow. You may die tomorrow. So right now is the time. Love her. Take care of her. You can love more. You see? Right? Right? Sorry, my old age memory is failing now. Yeah, anyway, yeah. Yes?
Thank you, Geshe-la. I would like to ask about.
Huh?
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask about right path. You said right path.
Yeah.
Is there any one right path or several right path?
There can be several right paths. Several. Impermanence is the right path. Emptiness is the right path. Compassion is the right path. Wisdom is the right path. So many. There can be many.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And sir, you also spoke of other world. The other day you said about energy. Everything is energy.
I didn't say everything is energy.
No, I'm talking in terms of science.
Yeah.
Actually. In
No,
terms
science,
of science, you said. Yeah.
The science also, I didn't say everything is energy.
Sir,
Everything may be related to energy, but I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. Yeah. But they believe in energy, yes.
yeah. Sir, when we say the harder world, don't you think, what's your take on this, that we limited everything? We are living in an unlimited world. And what does it mean, a spiritual world in these terms?
Yeah, at least in Buddhism we talk about the form realm, the desire realm, the formless realm, Devaloka, Manushya-loka, so many worldly systems, countless universe systems. So that we believe, yes. The stars, the moon, many of these maybe have, place of residence for many other celestial beings. We don't know. And now science is discovering more and more stars, with their powerful, machines. They are finding more and more, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
name is Manya, and my question is, how to have control over emotions?
Control your emotions.
Yeah, over
Control your
emotions.
emotions.
Yeah, as I am an emotional personality, so
You should say, emotion, be quiet. No, when you say emotion, there are too many different types of emotion. Positive emotions are good.
like I am an overthinker.
Huh? Then don't think too much.
It's not in my hand now because it's
No,
not
it is
the
in your
time.
hand. You are just saying, I know it's for some people it's difficult, yes. But you should, the thing is you should concentrate on few things. Don't just let your mind dispersed towards too many things. That will bring problem. You just concentrate on one thing and then achieve some result. That will help you stop overthinking on too many things. Okay?
ठीक है.
But if your nature is like that, how can you, control it? I mean, some people have this hypersensitive nature and their mind just wanders here and there and so many things.
There is nothing that cannot be changed. That's why we talk about nature and nurture. Right?
But it's like climate change. Like nature is like we are like changing the climate. So nature and climate is the same thing. I mean, I cannot
Yeah,
change my
so
nature.
that's why I'm saying, who is changing the climate?
We human beings.
Exactly. So like that, your nature can also be changed with your effort, with your doing, with your work. You can change it. Not maybe in some cases you're right. In some cases it may not be easy, but not easy doesn't mean you can't change. Yeah, make effort and slowly there will be surprising kind of changes. I've seen this in many cases.
Yeah, just a thought that why we say that human beings are the only intelligent species in the world, because had human beings not been there, the problems that we are facing in this world, like plants and animals, they are perfectly in sync with the nature and the
Exactly.
environment.
Yes.
Only the human beings, so-called intelligent, is only species,
तो मैं
so-called
बोला था ना,
have
intelligence.
created all the problems.
Yes, intelligence means not necessarily good or bad. It's a capacity. The question is how you are going to use your intelligence. In the right way, in the wrong way. We are mostly using it in the wrong way. That's why we are creating problem. So the intelligence itself is like nuclear energy. Nuclear energy itself is neither good nor bad. If you use it for producing, atom bombs and things like that, then it's bad. But if you use it for producing electricity, it is good. So yesterday I used the word corrupted intelligence. We are corrupting it. That's why we need to study, learn, and change our way of thinking in the right direction. That's why education, proper education, is so important to change the course of human thinking, intelligence in the right way. If you train it, you can become Buddha, you can become the Dalai Lama or Nelson Mandela, whatever. So many good people are there. If you misuse it, then Hitler, Idi Amin, Stalin, Mao Zedong. I don't want to name those people who are living right now. so many. So same person, more or less same intelligence, but depending upon education, depending upon situation, how they use it. For some people, they really become, just one person becomes source of peace and happiness for hundreds and millions of people. Same person, just one person. Then another same person with same intelligence becomes source of death of millions of people. I have a list of those people who killed how much, most of them killed how much. I have the list. Like that, one person. For example, during Mao Zedong's rule, 75 million people died due to direct killing or indirect means. 75 million people, as recorded by his own personal physician, doctor. So, similarly, there's a long line of murderers. Okay? Done? Thank you.